Welcome to Master of the Game. I am Juice, and today is day 7 of RPG A Day 2021, and we are going to be talking about inspiration and my house rules around it. So let's get started. So you guys know that I run a variety of live streams of a variety of systems, but most of the games I run are D&D5e. And in D&D5e, there's inspiration. And I've come up with some house rules for it, and I've applied this to other games as well, such as like Pathfinder with hero points and things like that. But before I dive into that, I do want to quickly mention, if you haven't yet, please check out some of our live streams. I'm going to post a link right here to one of my streams for you to go check out. I would love it if you go watch that and give me some feedback. Let me know if you like how it's going, if you think it's interesting. Again, I love feedback on stuff like that. So some of my house rules for inspiration. When I started playing 5e, I was really bad at giving inspiration. I used to only give it for role play things, but I started doing a little bit more with it. I actually found that having tokens at the table helped, and so I used poker chips for a while until I got into the habit of giving it out. Now, with giving inspiration, you can give it out for a variety of reasons. Some of the reasons I give it out are for, again, interesting role play, and that could be a combat, description. That could be just role playing simple mundane things like setting up camp or foraging or whatever, because I think that stuff makes the game far more interesting. Then it doesn't feel like, okay, yeah, we have combat, we have social encounters, and then just passing time in between those things. So when you have players that are willing to role play those aspects of the game, it's way, way better. And this is my way to encourage that. Now, in my stream games, I do let my viewers use Super Chat to purchase inspiration for players. I have a little menu I put up. And part of the incentives to inspiration is, one, I let people stack it. So you can get as many inspiration as you can stockpile. And it carries over to the next session. On top of that, you can use inspiration in a variety of ways. You can do it for re-rolls. You can use it to implement a re-roll for the DM against you. You can use it for an auto crit. However, that requires 5 inspiration to guarantee you get an auto crit. Now, you can use it to enforce a auto crit fail on me, the DM. So again, that's 5 inspiration as well. You can also use it to get yourself back up from dying at 0 hit points, whether you're making death saves or whatnot. You can spend 5 of your points, or actually, I think it's all of your inspiration. It has to be all your inspiration with at least 3, I think. It might just be all your inspiration. But if you spend all your inspiration, you can get back up at 1 hit point. And these are just fun little ways that I feel like make the game more interesting. Yes, people think, in D&D5e, you're impossible to kill. And, while in some regards, I agree it is a little bit harder, but it's, as a DM, you just got to think about anything the players can do, you can do as well. So I also have what I call villain points for me. Now, because in my stream games, people can buy those for me using Super Chat, the same rules apply. I can have a monster get back up by spending all my villain points. I can have them auto crit. I can have them enforce a crit fail. I can enforce rerolls. So usually I just do the rerolls because I never usually get to save up 5 of them for using them in other ways. But yeah, that's what I do. I found that it makes things far more interesting, especially when people are like, oh, I've got 4 of these now. I almost have 5. Then they're like, man, should I spend it on a reroll or should I save it so I can do the crit? So it makes people think about how to use it a little more. And I think it's a lot more interesting. Plus the idea that you can choose when to do that, to me, is really cool. So that's all I'm going to say for this video. There's other cool ways that you guys can come up with for inspiration. I know there's some cool stuff in the DMG, like story points, which I have allowed in the past. I've let players, change things up in the story. But I found just giving player agency for that without inspiration to be fine for the most part. For example, if they see an NPC in a tavern, they could say, oh, yeah, that's my cousin. Now it's their cousin. Or, yeah, I know this guy over here because he's a friend of the family or whatever. I let players do that now, just free will. That's just player agency I allow at my table. And I think it makes things interesting. I would love to have players do that with the villain. I think that would be kind of cool. But yeah, so anyways, that's just some of the ways you can use inspiration if you choose to. Those are some of the ways I have used it, and I do use it. This was Master the Game. I am Juice. Game on.